Hi guys, this is Carol. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not done so just yet, please like and subscribe and please share with a friend. So guys, it's been a hot minute I have not been on, so I'm about to do a repair job on this nail. I'm going to be using some acetone to remove the nail polish that is on my nails. And if you look carefully on my right hand, the thumb, you can see some debris underneath there. I am a colorist and I was coloring my clients hair and the glove broke, and so I got some staining underneath my nails. So it's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do these nails over. And I am also in the process of moving my salon from one location to another. And I broke two nails on my left hand. So some rehab to these nails. All right. I've also been doing a little bit more polish work. I had been losing my skills on polishing. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. So I'm just, like I said, using some cotton balls that I fluffed. And then I soaked it in some acetone. And I am removing the nail polish on my nails. And because these nails are thin on the bottom, I've been doing a lot of work on them. I will be repairing them with a form. All right, so you're going to see a little bit of my form work. And as you can see underneath the nail, it looks pretty gross, but it is what it is. So what I really wanted to do is show you, you're going to have clients that are who work with your hands like I do. And if you have any hairstylist clients, chances are they're going to come in with some color underneath their fingernails, and we're going to show you how to clean that up. You know, everybody does the new set, but what happens when you have someone who broke a nail? Do you have to take it off? Not necessarily. Not much to see here, guys, just nail polish removing. And I just wanted to show you that I used just regular cotton ball. I get this one at my local military exchange. And yeah, the local military exchange. You can find these at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, whatever is available to you. And this is the way I fluffed it. I just pull them out so that it could be more effective as far as I'm concerned. But you can choose to use it however you like. But when I fluff it like this, I find that it goes a long way. So that's one cotton ball. Then sometimes I would end up using two, but if I fluff it, I just really need one. So when I am working behind or rebalancing my nails, I do not like to see any leftover polish from the previous set. And so this is the reason why I'm going back with a second cotton ball, and I'm going in there and really trying to wipe out that stuff. So underneath here, I just wanted to make sure there was nothing underneath there. And what it is just the tip of the free edge of my natural nail got stained with I think my last client, I colored her hair black. And so that's just black color under my nail, which at some point I would use a needle nose tip and just go up underneath there and file it down. And you can tell I had already lifted up Pinky. And you can tell that by the different color powder. I just used whatever was at hand to repair that one. But hang in there with me, guys. The exciting stuff is about to come. But I must take a chance at a little bit of time to say, I've been out of the loop for a while. Just personal stuff going on in my life. I had a death in the family, and sometimes you just need to take some time to take care of yourself. And I find myself just really wondering if I really wanted to continue doing some of the things I'm doing in my life. And yeah, I'm gonna be using this tapping dish. It's a candlestick holder, but it has two reservoirs on it. A bigger one for when I'm doing a lot of work, and then it has a smaller hole on the other side that will allow me to do, just repair work, and I don't have to pour a whole lot of money more. Right? It's just a little reservoir on this side, and the other one is a little bit deeper and wider. You can see it's like the traditional small one on the side, and this one is just bigger. So I couldn't tell you guys where to find one of these. I found this one at my local thrift store. As you guys know, I love thrift store shopping, and I just thought that would make a great dapping dish. I have an N&S Kalinsky in a size 10, and I will be using the Clear Entourage Nail Gallery monomer and clear powder and Entourage Nail Gallery monomer. Can't get my words out this morning. It's been a while since I did a voiceover. And I would be using my eye gel e-file. I did a video on this. It's not one of my favorite ones because the part that I use in my hand it slips a lot. But yeah, that's what we're going to be using today. And then I have an assortment of bits to choose from. So it's just a little bit of organization here. And yeah. So as I was saying to you guys, I had a lot of issues, personal issues. Sometimes business, you go from boom to bust. And I just got frustrated and was just not happy with my life. And I just needed to take some time to focus on me. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And we're about to repair these nails. But I'm so excited to be back, guys. I realized that I missed doing some of the things that I would normally do. I missed it a lot. And one of the things I missed was doing my videos and reaching out to my nail bosses. And so I'm just showing you here that I'm going to be repairing those two nails with a form. And those forms, I got them on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon. No particular reason why I got them. It's just I like stilettos, and those were stilettos. So I'm switching out this bit, and I'm going to go in with I believe, a sanding band. And I was just using this prior to getting on camera, so I just flipped it around so I get a sharper edge on the opposite side. But if you're using these on a client, you really need to use a new one on a client each and every single time. Okay? So we're going to turn the e-file on. And 14,000, 15,000 RPMs, I would run it around 14 to 16 at this point, where I'm trying to remove any lifting that might be there. If I'm picking out some color on the side. And on this particular nail, you're going to see me come around to it in a second. On this side, right there, we had some lifting right there. And so I'm trying to clean that up. Very important to remove lifting. And then you see it left a little part of the nail exposed right there. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that later. I have been doing a lot of work on my nails, and my nails are really thin on the bottom. And so I decided I will do a little bit more repair work and show some of that content as opposed to just soaking it off, or soaking it off and putting a new tip on there. We're going to show a little bit of it can be saved. But when you're saving a nail, you got to make sure you get rid of all the lifting. Because chances are, if you get any greenies, it will happen at the time of rebalancing. And I'm just going to move right along, and you can pinch and expand. If you do, you will notice that these nails they wasn't even grown out. I had just done this set not too long ago, and but because, like I said, I'm moving the salon, I broke three of them actually. The pinky one on the right hand, I had already repaired that, and the only powder I had wasn't clear. So that's going to have one odd nail. And right here, I am cleaning up around the lateral folds of my nails, and I'm pulling the E-file, the sanding band, back on the nail a little bit because I wanted, if there is any lifting on the corners, I just wanted to pick that up. And right here on the top, I'm going across the top because I want to remove some of the bulk from there, because I will be using a form on that nail and I don't want it to come out too chunky. So if you're back following me, thank you so much. I was pretending to be Superwoman and trying to stir too many pots at the same time, and I got drained and burnt out. And I have a funny story to tell you guys somewhere along the line. While I'm working on this, but yeah. Actually, it's a good time for me to tell you guys right now. So I went down to the Caribbean, my husband and I, for my cousin's funeral. Very emotional, very, if you lose a loved one, somebody that you cherished a lot, and they pass on, sometimes it could be a little bit rough. All right. So we went down one Saturday. Then the funeral was the following Saturday, and we flew out the following Wednesday, came back home. So we made it a little bit of a rest and relaxation. So, my husband is Floridian. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. And so I wanted to show my husband how skillful I am. What are we doing here? We are adjusting the speed. And then I think I'm reversing the speed here. Yes, I'm going to reverse it. You see where it shows reverse, and then if I push the taglet back, it will show you forward by these little circular things right here. So I'm reversing to do the opposite hand. So I really wanted to show my husband how skillful I was. I can still do activities that you do in the Caribbean, such as climbing trees to pick fruits. My fruit of choice was a plum tree. Guys, right here, all I'm doing is cleaning up the sides, removing some edginess that may not have been smooth, because, this is now non-dominant hand work I'm doing right here. So I just wanted to make sure the edges are nice and smooth. If I had any lifting, I wanted to get in there and pick it up. Okay? So you could pinch and expand to see what's going on here. Yeah, so I'm in a plum tree. I'm picking plums. I'm dropping them down to my husband. And if you know anything about the Caribbean and you know anything about the plum tree is a very soft tree. And you sort of have to step in the Y where the branches meet the trunk of the tree. And otherwise, if you step on the branch, the branches could break. Long story short, I did not take my own advice. And on my way down, I stepped on the branch. I didn't want to break the branch in front of me to get a good footing. So I sort of like shimmied my way underneath it and I stepped out a little bit too far and the branch broke. So I fell about 7 feet out of a plum tree. And guys, it was ugly. I didn't break anything, but I sat on the under the tree for a good 15 minutes and all I could say is that hurt. That hurt. So I didn't think anything about it. Nothing broke that I thought of. And we went to a cookout, and a couple of hours into the cookout, I started to feel really insulted, like my body just hurt. So they took me to the hospital. We did some x-rays on my foot. At the time, I was just complaining about my foot. And they did some x-rays, nothing is broken. And the very next day, I started feeling my shoulder is bothering me. So how could you be a nail tech or even a hairstylist and blow dry somebody's hair when your shoulder is messed up? So I've been convalescing. I learned my lesson well, and my husband banned me from climbing trees after that. So now if it was a mango tree, the mango tree is a little bit more sturdier than a plum tree. And this plum tree was a little bit young. Guys, don't do it. Don't. It's not worth it. Go to the fruit stands and buy the fruit when you get to the islands. Yes. So you're going to see I spent a little less work on that pinky because the pinky was repaired not too long ago. And so there isn't much to do on the pinky. So now I am about to change this bit out. And I'm going in with a safety bit. And you're going to see me playing around with the pen part of this e-file. Right? I don't know that this e-file kind of got worn quickly in that area right there where you open and close it. So it frustrates me a little bit. So I'm really going in there now because I have more confidence. I clean up closest to my cuticle with the sanding band. If you're nervous about working with your e-file, try working with a sanding band. If you have the confidence to do a regular bit, then you can go ahead and do that. I'm using a safety one at 18,000 RPMs. I needed a little bit more speed. Now we can see the product being removed. And like I said, since I am repairing, I am literally removing as much bulk as humanly possible because I'm going to go over the entire nail when I'm repairing. I'm going to go over the entire nail with clear acrylic. When I go over the top, I'm going to remove in bulk. And when you're doing this part, the nails are fairly thin. I don't do them too thick, especially if I'm using clear and I'm not encapsulating. But you got to be careful, to don't create a ring of fire, as well as don't take them down too thin. I miss you guys so much, nail bosses. I know some of you reached out to me. Hey, Carol, are you okay? Yeah, I just needed some time for me. I was just really, I'm taking care of my husband, the salon, the emotions of going up and down with the salon, people not acting right. It's just a lot. I was adulting, I should say. And adulting sucks sometimes. If you guys are struggling with adulting right now, I hear you. Divas, dogs, and dudes, I hear you. Adulting could not be fun at sometimes. So I'm just showing you here that I'm reversing to go to the opposite side. Some people run their e-file on forward the entire time. For safety reasons, I go the opposite way with it because I feel a little bit more comfortable and confident that I'm not going to hurt myself. And notice how flat I'm laying the e-file to the bit to the surface of the nail. Now, I know we're running this at, I believe it was 18,000 RPMs. You don't have to run your e-file that fast if you're not confident. Try 10. Just know that the slower you run the e-file, it's less. If you're trying to remove product, it's a little bit, it doesn't remove as much if you the lower you go. So when you remove and you want to turn the e-file up a little bit higher, and if you're working on a natural nail, you want to go as low as possible. All right? And take your time. Alrighty, so we are ready to start repairing these bad boys. And for this process, I am going to be going in with the Young Nails Protein Bond. Y'all know I love that stuff. If you're serious about lifting, you'll put 2 coats down. The only thing I don't like about the Young Nail protein bun, I got big hands, and these little caps, I be struggling to hold them in my hand. But guys, hang in there with me. It's just so tiny. And I know that a little bit of this product goes a long way, so you don't want bigger. I have to find a way to modify the cap. We are nail techs. We know how to glue stuff together and make something. I'll have to figure out how I do that, but that's the only thing about those um protein bond is the bottles are so tiny. And make sure you want to, on the nail that you're repairing, you want to make sure if there is any natural nail exposed at the free edge, you really want to make sure that you get a good, that you put the protein bond on that section as well. So we're going to come in with our dapping dish holder that we talked about. And we're going to use the larger size, I'm thinking, yep. And I didn't fill it up all the way, but I did remember putting too much product in there. I should have used the smaller side of the reservoir. And as we discussed before, I'm going in with my NNS in a Kalinsky in a size 10. And those are the shop cloths. I picked those up in bulk at AutoZone. So in comes the Entourage Nail Gallery Clear. And I'm going to start with the thumb nail, I believe. And we're just going to work our way around to get into the form work. I'm burping my brush a little bit. And when I'm working with the Entourage Nail Gallery Clear, I sort of like release some of the product, some of the monomer out of the brush. Because it's clear, you really don't need it to be a lot of product in the brush. And because there's no pigmentation in there, you don't need a lot of liquid. So you'll see me squeezing the brush out a lot. Plus, I believe this bead, I'm going to go in and try to repair the void we had on the side right here. And I needed that bead to be a little bit more firm. Hence the reason why I was drying the brush out so much. Because I wanted to be able to just fill in the gap just like that, where it was solid enough to do it. If it's too liquidy, it would have just run right through the little hole on the side. And as it starts solidifying, I'm using the body of the brush to pull any excess product that I need into that spot and forward. Making sure there's no spillage in the lateral fold. Come on, Kara, bring your hands back onto the camera. Right. And basically, that's how I filled in that little gap on the side. If the product is standing on the brush without being runny, you definitely will be able to just fill in little gaps like the one I had right there. And I've put a smaller bead in the front, and I'm just building up the thickness at the front and blending backwards as well. So this thumbnail, if any of you know someone who plays a guitar and they use a pick to play the guitar, that's what this thumbnail reminded me of. The shape looked like the pick my cousins used to use to play their guitar. I tried playing the guitar, when I was much younger. That squeezing the chords is not the easiest thing to do. And right here, I'm just making sure that I am not flooding the cuticle, but as I'm close to the cuticle as humanly possible. Now, I know I teach when you're doing beginner's work to use some product that has pigmentation in there so that you can actually see the product. You can see if it's flooding. I still stand by that, but I wanted to do a little bit of clear work for anybody who might be interested in that, where you're just using clear and still be able to see whether or not the product is flooding the cuticles or not. All right. So on this go round, that's what we're doing, is working with the clear powder and being able to see where the powder is at in terms of where your cuticle, the lateral fold, and the free edges. So I put it down, and you can literally see it. Make sure you have good lighting so you can see. And if I don't keep my hands on the camera, for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know my cinematography can sometimes do exactly what it's doing right now. But hang in there with me. This is my first video in about a month and a half, so I promise, guys, I'll get my act together. So once again, if you notice that I'm releasing a lot of product out of the brush, that is because when working with non-pigmented powder, you can release a lot of liquid. You can release a lot of liquid and still get the product to do what you want, because you don't need the hydration of the pigmentation in the powder, right? Y'all could tell I was not really looking up at the camera when I was doing this, so pardon the annoyance of my hands going off the camera. As you can see, when I need just a little bit, I just need just a little bit of product. You don't have to pick up big beads. At one point, I had a problem with that, thinking that each and every single bead had to be a certain size. Just pick up what you need. So now I'm going to go in with a form. Once again, like I said, I got these on Amazon. So I split the top of the form, and I'm going to use this little piece that was left behind to reinforce the back of the form, so that when I put it on my finger and you press it down with the acrylic powder, it doesn't bend on you, right? So we're going to put this form on, and I am going to pick up a bead. Hopefully it's not a runny one. This one was a little bit more liquidy than I wanted it to be. But you're going to pick up a bead, and first thing I'm going to do is put it down and join my free edge with the foam platform, if that makes sense. So where the foam is at, and guys, really, I'm so sorry about this. I really want to get the foam to start extending, so that imagine the foam was a tip, and you want to start putting the first bead down where the free edge and the tip meets. Basically, that's exactly what I'm doing right here. And this form has the lines for stilettos, so I'm really just following the lines. And like I said, you really don't want the bead to be that liquidy, so I needed to release a little bit more of the product, which I just did. And I pick up a bead, and then I'm going to continue extending down the form so that I can extend the nail. Form work is fun, guys. And so if you didn't know you can do that, well, now you know. I know I am annoying, guys. Alrighty, so I just put a reverse bead. That's all that I was doing back there. And I'm trying to stay within the fold of the lines that are there. And I am extending, pulling the product down just to get to the right length. Now if you're not gonna make a really long nail, it doesn't make sense for you to fill in the whole length of the form, because then you have to cut and file that, right? So, and right here, I'm just filling in the back and really trying to form this to look like a nail and keeping my lateral folds clean. And now I'm just pulling the excess product forward so that we have a nice shaped nail. I'm just measuring it up to make sure that I'm not going too much longer than what I need, so that I don't have the excess work to clean it up. This video is going to run about 1 hour 8 minutes, and I haven't, about 1 hour 8 minutes. So grab a drink, grab your popcorn, or you can grab your brush, your acrylic, your powder, your tips, and join me. I'm just visually inspecting to see if I'm liking what I'm seeing from all angles. And remember, we were removing bulk from the nails when we were prepping. So right here, we're just making sure that the nails is rebalanced to have a cuticle area and apex, the free edge and the tip, all flowing into each other in the right proportions. Once that starts coming along nicely, you want to look at it from all angles. Make sure that it's not lumpy and bumpy. If you're missing some products from anywhere, you want to just put a bead appropriate for the spot. That wouldn't make you have to overfile or file, have a lot of filing to do. You just want one that is going to fill in whatever area you see necessary. So we're going to put on another form. Once again, I peel it off of the sticker. And if you're just now joining me, these came out of Amazon. No particular brand. I just wanted a stiletto, a long stiletto. So I reinforce it in the back, and then I am going to apply it to my nail. So I'm sticking the front of it together, put it on my pinky, right underneath the free edge. And in this case, my free edge is short. So you want to be careful when you are putting it under the free edge that you're not hurting yourself or your guests. And once again, we're going to put a bead right to the front and join my free edge to the form. Once again, this bead was slight bit more runny. Once again, I'm using clear powder that does not have a lot of pigmentation in there. So you really need to drain your brush either in a dapping dish a lot more or on your cotton, on your paper towel. And so usually I would be able to put a drier bead there and have less playing around with the product to get it to stay where I want it to. But it can show you that even if you do have a less than desired bead, you don't have to abandon it. If you skilled enough to work with it, you work with it until it eventually gets pliable. right? And my intentions is not to have to file the nails too much. So I am measuring how long I want it to be. So I'm not wasting product either on the nail, or I'm not wasting hand filing, e-filing time. And unfortunately, I'm a little bit off camera here. There we go. And I'm rebalancing at this point from the back forward. So if you are first time using forms, or you're not that proficient at using forms, if you break a nail, rather than taking the acrylics completely off, if you can salvage it, cut the tip off, make sure you clean up all your lifting, try a form on one nail. You know, take the pressure off of you to do all 5 nails and just try one. You might be surprised how easy it is. And for those of you who are taking guests, it's an option for rebuilding a nail using a form. Try it and drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know how it worked out for you. So we're doing a little bit more rebalance work back there. By the time I got through working the ring finger and the pinky, the middle finger was ready for me to remove the form, which I just did. Now, upon removing the form, you'll see me putting a reverse bead off the camera, of course. I'm putting a reverse bead down, and so you can see where the form was not completed. It's okay, guys. So now that part that was on the form, the free edge that was on the form, now acts as if it was your tip. Does that make sense? So if you had stuck a tip onto it, that part that I built onto the form is now acting like a tip. And so now you can go ahead and rebalance the nail. Too easy, right? Too easy. And of course, since we had measured it, the tip of the nail where it's sort of like split in the middle there, we don't have to worry about it too much because we're going to file that away. I may opt for filling it in. I can't remember if I did or not, but it was not going to be a problem. Dip my brush into the monomer, squeeze out some of the products, and I'm just going to go in and do the opposite on the other hand. Just fill it in. I contemplated whether or not I should leave the non-dominant handwork in there, but I guess I decided to leave it in there. A reverse bead. Now, if you saw the video from the beginning, we had some color underneath that nail. Well, we actually reduced what it looked like, and I will still go back and work at it with my needle nose bit and clean out any discoloration under the nail, because whenever you're working with clear product, there is no hiding debris under your nail. So I'm making sure my lateral walls are cleaned up, no no flooding. I find that when I pay attention to my flood zones, that I get better results if I don't have flooding in it. It's more comfortable for me when I'm working on my own hands. It's also comfortable for your guests if you're not flooding the lateral walls and having to go back and fish it out. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So now I'm just rebalancing the nails on the dominant hand, doing some non-dominant hand work. So if I go off camera, you guys already know. So here it is. I put a bead close to the cuticle, push it back, careful not to flood the cuticle, and then just pull forward. Yes, very nicely done. I don't know, guys, but lately I have been obsessed with working with clear acrylic as well as polishing and gelling my nails. I don't know what my obsession is, but I'm going after that absolutely gorgeous finish work. I'm looking to step up my game, and I have been just fascinated with working with clear acrylic like we used to do back in the day, and also with the smoothness, the finish, no lumps and bumps, and also my polish or gel work. So guys, I'm not sure if any one of you have experienced restrictive mode on your videos. Lately, I'm not sure what it is I said, what it is I did, because all I do is post nail videos, tutorials, and I went into restrictive mode. And it said it's restrictive mode set by the administrator to block potential I guess hurtful words or something like that. I have no clue. But if any one of you've had any issue with restrictive mode, do you know how to take it off? What do I have to do to clear the restrictive mode? Because I'm not seeing some of y'all's comment because of it. And I can temporarily turn it off, but it goes back on each and every time that I do it. I will greatly appreciate somebody hollering at your girl and telling me what to do about it. Alrighty. So now that we finished fooling around with the clear acrylic, it might be a great time to reconstitute your table. And oh, I forgot, while I was doing my hand filing part of the video, I actually thought I was videotaping, and we won't. So if you notice that we jumped from the application to now I'm buffing, well, you know how it is. Once you miss the footage, I couldn't go back and get it. So I'm using my Young Nail sponge hand file, and I'm using the rougher side first for refining, and then I'm using the smoother side for smoothing. And now on the opposite hand, I'm going to do some hand filing, some e-filing. So right here, I'm just redefining the shape because we did e-file off the gel coat that was on there. And so now I am rebalancing the nail, and I'm using my hand file, and I believe I'm going to go back and use an e-file as well. And the hand file that I'm using is just a generic hand file I purchased at my local nail supply. Nothing spectacular, Just something that will do the job, get the job done. As you guys know, when I go for the top like that, I am reducing bulk. And I'm also using my right hand to help assist me in filing. So yeah, so we missed the hand filing on the opposite hand, but hope you're finding value in the hand filing on the non-dominant hand to the dominant hand. Making sure I maintain the shape of the nail from the bottom, top, and on the sides. I miss you guys so much. I couldn't wait to get back on. I'm a little bit rusty with my videos, but give me a second. I'll get back into the swing of it. Oop, found a little bit of lifting somewhere. Not lifting, but flooding. Yep, right there. No shame in my game, guys. I get it too. The most important part is when you find it, you clean it up, whether it's on you or on a guest. It will save you the embarrassment when your guest is complaining, and it will save you from having to do your nails over again. And of course, that's the rogue nail that came up. And I just filled it in with something that I had available and it wasn't clear. So now I'm just buffing with a square sponge or a rectangular sponge in orange. Using the motion of my right hand to help me in assisting with hand and eye and brain confusion, hand and eye coordination, brain confusion. We talk about that in many videos before, where your brain is just like, am I left-handed or am I right-handed? What are you trying to make me do? And of course, I use all three sides, the coarser side first, the medium side, and then the smoother side to buff out, even out the surface, no hangnails, get around the cuticle area. You guys see I'm feeling for it to make sure that it is smooth and even. And in the cases where I'm working on my non-dominant hand on the dominant hand, I like to go back with the hand buffer, the hand file buffer, and get around the cuticles. Because as you all know, I do see clients for haircuts, colors, and shampoos and stuff like that. And I really don't want hair getting up underneath the nail from the cuticle side, causing lifting. Okay? Hope you guys are doing all right. Hope you're enjoying this video. If you haven't done so just yet, please like and subscribe. Share with a friend. And here I'm looking at the color that is staining my nail on the bottom. And we're going to switch our pieces out and go up underneath there. Yep. Go up underneath there and knock as much of that out as humanly possible. Now you see how my e-file is skipping when you try to close it? Yeah, I have to play with it a little bit for it to catch. It's almost like it's a one screw in there. I don't use that one on my guests. Only when I'm home, I would use that on myself. And here I'm just going underneath the tip, the enhancement, and clean up where the nail got stained with hair color. You know what I mean? In the event that I would take the nail polish off, you really don't want that look underneath there. It's a little bit unprofessional for my clients to be seeing, whether it's color or not, anything underneath my nails. And now I'm using my little e-brush and getting up inside the cuticle and brushing away any debris that might be there. And I actually like using that little tool. I don't use it as often as I used to, but I like using it because acrylics does not like debris and powders. Sometimes I would just sit at my desk and after I brush my hands off, use some alcohol to wipe it off if I didn't get up to wash my hand. So I want to make sure that all that debris is gone. And it is quite possible for you to wash your hands and get some wet debris back there if you didn't use a brush to wash your hands. I always do. Sometimes I send my guests to wash their hands and they don't wash properly, if you know what I mean. So, I like to perform this ritual where I do a little cuticle oil just to make sure that I can see all the oil travels all the way around my finger, the cuticle lateral wall area. Make sure that I seal the nails properly. It's something that I was taught to do way, way back, and something that I continue to do. And it also helps to start rehydrating my cuticles. I'm going to rub that in. I'm going to wash my hands properly and I'll be back so that I could use soap and a brush. So now I also do that with my guests so that they have to use the soap and a brush to wash the product off. Make sure that they get a good hand washing. I was going to use some blooming gel. I had no idea where I was going with that, but I have been obsessed with blues lately. It was my cousin's favorite color, and at his funeral, we all wore, well, the men did, jeans and blue polo shirts. And I was, of course, in all white with some blue accents. And I'm still obsessed with blue. So I'm just going to wear blue for a little bit longer while it comforts my heart. And so now we are going to go in and polish with some gel. And I believe this is Nut Polish Frost You. Absolutely obsessed with that color. It has some frostings on the inside. And you see how translucent it is? So by the time I put the second coat on, it'll get a little bit more opaque than it is right now. But I thought it was such a beautiful blue. If you are going to like a gender reveal and you are on team boy, it would be a great color to wear for team boy. Especially if you're excited that the baby could possibly be a boy. It has some little iridescence in there. So it's like I'm celebrating team boy. They look kind of pretty, you all. And then I'm going to go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to do a second coat and I will also cure that one for 60 seconds. Now, a thin coat goes a long way. So try not to get too heavy-handed. Of course, you're not going to see me insert my hand into the light. You're going to have to take my word for it. that I did. And I already told you all my light at home is raggedy, and she still works, and so I'm gonna keep working her until she don't work no more. So here we're back, and I'm about to do the second coat. Oh, isn't he beautiful? Wipe off the little excess. I have been doing a lot of encapsulation work, so usually I would just do a clear layer on the top, but lately I have this gel obsession. A little bit off camera there, but once again, I'm being lazy and depositing the color on the nail and then removing what I don't want, but that's not the way you're supposed to do it. So do as I say, not as I do. Please do not apply a gel like that. I have a graduation for one of my nephew's friends is graduating June 1st. Well, his graduation party is June 1st, his high school graduation party. And I'm thinking about going in all white and blue. Or maybe all white and purple. I'm not sure. But some friends of ours, they were my nephew's playmates. My nephew went off to the Marine Corps. He's friends with the older brother, but with all three brothers really. And so it's such an amazing thing to see these young men grow up. Yep, it's almost graduation season, y'all. Okay, so I'm also using the Not Polish Gloss It, and I'm putting a generous layer. It's clear. As long as I put it down nice, thin, and even, it will dry, or it should dry, as long as there's no oils on the nail, without quelling up. If you've ever seen someone put their gel on and then they get a little wrinkly, it goes on too thick and it didn't dry evenly. So I just put a nice, even, thin layer, gloss it up. Oh, I'm feeling those nails. Yes, indeed. Wow. Awesome. And we're going to reverse that on the opposite hand. Yes, I did color the opposite hand without being on camera. But really, guys, the video was long as it was. And we are winding down here a little bit. And so, if you remember in the beginning, I started off with the finish. And then I came in with the pink set or the red set that I have that had stained from me coloring my clients here. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it feels so good to be back, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And drop in the description box if you, not the description, in the comment section if you miss me. I certainly did miss you guys, and I think I have my head back together, and you should look forward to seeing more videos from me. So right about now, I cured it for the appropriate amount of time, and now I'm just putting some cuticle oil, rehydrate my nails for a second time. And I'm going to rub that in, and you will be in for a quick little photo shoot. And at this time, I like to offer my guests a little bit of hand lotion because we've been dehydrating their hands, washed their hands a couple of times. I kind of think they were cute. I like them. I don't normally wear blue nails, but like I said, it was for a purpose, and I'm still celebrating life. So that's the color that I'm wearing. Yes, so it's beautiful. I did a quick little photo shoot. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. I will be back in another episode with another video, and I hope you really enjoyed it, and thank you for watching, and please share with a friend, and if you have not done so just yet, please feel free to like and subscribe, share with a friend. All right, so until next time, my friends, my nail bosses, enjoy.